A few years ago, our IKEA bed split at the seams. On the way to the bin, my wife and I talked budget, furniture shops, and the logistics of packing a bed into a Suzuki. As a proud, nihilistic, and civically patriotic but ultimately skill-less consumer nearing 40 years of age, I stumped for IKEA. But something bugged me. The next morning, I wiped spilled milk from our dining table, wondering, why had I flown to California to save this table from moldering away in a storage shed? My family had sat around it every day since my sister and I were babies until I graduated uni. Today, my daughter dents and smudges it like I did. Her little brother will be next. Friends too have added their marks. Here it displays rings left by sodden mugs. There it shows dents hammered into it after bad Catan trades. It is my writing table, sometimes my carving table, and our homeschooling table. Most importantly, every of its seams, joins, and edges vibrate with my father's energy. He made it when he was a missionary in southern Sweden. He made it when he hadn't yet fostered the skills to make a pretty thing that would survive the abuse from 3 familial generations. But he did make a table. And that table is an important part of my family's history. What sort of son would I be to let it rot away in the belly of a whale? 3 years ago, I piggybacked on my father's creative will and made a family bed the old way. As I sawed, chiseled, and hammered together what I hoped would be a brilliant, no-hardware timber frame bed, I did my best to channel my father's energy. Energetically, I fumbled its joints, sanded the wrong bits, and never finished important parts. It turned out awful. I chalk up the mistakes I made to the fact that, whilst making it, I was a deeply dug-in bugman. I was all about Star Wars movies, video games, plastic models, add-on stories, and so on. I slobbered over audio and video gear, and passionately blogged about both. I trawled the geek side of the internet for screeds about the politicization of fandoms. I collected toys. To my friends and family, I was a poor man's nerdrotic, mourning the bitchification of fandoms. I exerted gravity on neither the physical nor the spiritual world, and yet I leaned so heavily on the former that my personality was structured through the products it consumed, the systemic causes it supported, and how often it flexed for or against each. Could I have made a better bed? Yes, but I would have had to first slough off the bug skin. And at the time, I wanted nothing more than to catch the latest episode of EFAP. I was trapped. Guy Prolly will catalogue my attempt at forging a new man. I will build, read, learn, exercise, and worship. I may even try to answer lingering questions, personal, spiritual, and even the degenerate, leftover wanderings of a bugman. I aim to show what I've learned and which voices out there I think are important to listen to. Finally, as a pro photographer, I will offer my advice to those looking to up their camera skills. Join me on this journey. Subscribe, then hit up your local auction and get a saw, some chisels, and a hammer. I'll show you how to sharpen and hone them till they blind the neighbors. Next, find a collection of Grimm's Tales, a copy of Tacitus's Germania, and or anything written by Paul Sellers. Finally, start an exercise routine and begin learning a martial art. It's time to dump your toys for tools. Aim for the sun, and in small ways rescue our fathers from the belly of whales. Prolly.